to
look at it.
We have to look at it. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Reed. And we're apparently getting the show dialed in called Just Look at It.
And we're so excited we've been looking at it all morning. I'm like, I want to talk about this.
Is the world really going to end?
Well, everything ends at some point. I wasn't thinking like asteroids or alien invasion or zombies, although I did read an article that apparently 3% of the world thinks that the world is going to end by a zombie apocalypse or alien invasion. And I was like, that is kind of fun. 3%.
Right. Right. So there's a lot of likelihoods in 2020 and any year, but especially 2020.
Right. So I am just so excited about this because I want to talk about things like global economies and following the money. Honestly, that has been one of the most exciting parts of my studies. I've studied primarily 3 things over the last 20 years, and it is sex and the sale of and intimacy and all things around sex. It is money, and it is family and generational cycles. And so as I've studied money and global economies and history, because my favorite quote is the only thing you learn from history is that you never learn from history, which is so profound to me that I was like just doing some light reading about the end of the world and global economies. And I was like, this is going to be fun because it's not what you think. And it's not going down the way we think it's going down because there are these layers of information and it's wild.
Yeah. This is
right.
When I start to look at what's happened this year, I go, where's the massive opportunity in all of this? Because there's...
For the little guys, because let's face it, unless you're a Warren Buffett or Bezos or...
Everybody's... There's a lot of people...
We're all the little guys.
There's a lot of us, most of us, the vast majority, 99% and above that are... We're in this place of going, where is our opportunity? Or we're complaining about the world going to shit and we're waiting for the government to show up to fix our problems. Or we're waiting for our parents, or we're waiting for the school system to show up to miraculously make our school teachers do better while they're
underpaid and undervalued and overworked.
Screen, and they're supposed to help kids on the other side while they're falling asleep on their chairs.
This has been making me nuts. We have to follow the money because the money is the important trail here. So when all of the chaos started, back in March, I actually did a live about it. And it was about, the world is shifting and changing and there's a lot of shit going down right now, but it's not like I am a full supporter of the Black Lives Movement because I've been supporting Black lives and trans lives and seeing my friends be killed and beaten for no reason over and over and over. And I've been a supporter for 11 years since I became aware and went public with my story and started to really just go deeper into who I was and what my story is. And as I did that, I was like, yeah, of course. And then like, I look at everything around the masks and I'm like, yeah, I see both sides. Like I see what's going on. But what I really see is how we are fighting. We are fighting and they want us to fight. They want us to argue. They want to be able to lock us down. They want that because the global economy has shifted in a way that it never has before. So between China and the US, those 2 countries manufacture 45% of the global production. So of industry, of manufacturing, 2 countries are keeping, they amount to 45% of the products that are exported. Now, when China shut down and then the US shut down, it shut down all this distribution. But what you don't see is how that affects the people who are manufacturing the products. And this is why it's so connected to trafficking, is because with labor trafficking, it if you just look at phones, there was a company that tried to create cell phones that were like free trade, like fair trade, where people weren't being enslaved. They literally couldn't do it. They could not do it. So they deemed them better because that was the best they could do. There are certain industries, you cannot create cell phones outside of slave labor.
Why?
Because the manufacturing of the products in the cell phones, the metals, the mineral, the things that make the cell phone.
The industry
Right.
industry was designated for slavery.
Well, no,
The thing is,
that's how they created it. And that's how so many of our products are created, whether
Right.
it's clothing,
Right.
whether it's food, whether it's diamonds.
But the wonderful part, though, is that these things are able to be created with the technology we have without slavery now.
Not true.
There's
No.
been times when they
No,
can't.
there's not. Because you have
Okay.
to be able to get the mineral,
So what you're
minerals
saying
out
is-
of the ground, and that's where they cannot.
So it has to be sourced overseas. It
Right,
has to
so
be
what
sourced
is
in different
actually-
places.
Right. What is actually coming is humans are being replaced by technology. And I don't know how to stop that freight train.
Oh, that's what I was bringing up with this. I'm like, technology can replace humans and it can create these things.
Right, but until the minerals can be mined in a way that doesn't kill people,
Right.
it can't happen.
That's-
That's why the company couldn't
That's the
create cell
challenge.
phones that were fair trade.
Yeah.
Because in order to be able to do the mining,
Yeah.
they're still using people.
Yeah. And what other sources do you have unless you create an entire industry? Just so
Right,
you can
and
create
so
a
the
phone?
fighting
Yeah.
creates the chaos
Mhm.
that brings down the economies.
Mhm.
When the economies crash,
Then there's
people
opportunity.
die
Yeah.
because we're depressed, we're
Yeah.
suicidal, we start drugs, alcohol, people start fighting more and more, and we forget what we're responsible for.
We do.
We forget that the natural selection is real.
Mhm.
This is one of the reasons that I was so grateful I was trafficked, because I understood that it was survival or die,
Yeah.
because I saw my friends die.
Right.
And so there's some really good effects that can happen because of trauma, because it can teach us that we can't just be entitled. We can't just sit back and be like, oh, they're going to take care of us, because you know what? They're not.
There's no
one is going to save us. And we do need to, people need rights. But what's going on behind all the arguing is so much uglier and so much deeper, because there is going to be millions, if not billions, of people that are going to die. And they're the ones that you don't see in society. They're not the ones who are your neighbor. It's the people that are stuck in bad situations. It's the people who are being trafficked. They are being enslaved. You just can't see them on the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
But they're there and they're real. And you know what? The internet has given them a voice. It is absolutely incredible. When I look at, Twitter, take a look at Twitter and Reddit and see what people in Africa are saying about Americans coming over and rescuing them. They don't like it. They don't want it. They want to be empowered.
Yeah.
Technology gave the voiceless a voice. Technology gave us the ability to work together, to fight, to stand, to protect yourself, to provide for your family, to take care of the things that matter. Because you know what? No one is going to save you. You have to do it. And this isn't going to be a quick, oh my God, right now the whole world changed. This is a long, slow dismantling of a global economy.
Yeah.
And it's going to take time. And right now you have the opportunity to do something, to create something that's sustainable. Because if you are in the hospitality industry, if you are in events, if you are in restaurants, hotels, anything that has gone down, Like, it's not, the world is not going to go back the way it was. Our buying has changed. Follow the dollar. Follow all the currencies. It has completely changed.
Yeah.
Oh,
The water
Brittany,
wells in
Brittany, so-
Africa write-up. Didn't you share that?
yes.
I thought you brought so much light to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's,
Right there.
as long as there's this unsettling disdain between trade, with whether it be with Africa or with China, if there's this disdain that's happening.
She's talking to something else, but
Oh, I was thinking it directly affects water in Africa.
but
because-
no, okay, so what she's talking about
Okay.
was people just want to go drill wells in Africa. And they take, when they come in, like many communities do need wells,
Mhm.
but they don't want the culture that comes with it. They
Right.
don't want the forced change of religion or culture or taking
Yes.
their rights away
Yes.
in exchange for water. And that's what happens so many times.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, we'll give you a well, but now we have to build you a church, and now we have to convert you, and now we have to do this, and God forbid there be hungry children. Instead of feeding them, they
Oh,
rescue them.
What if?
Or like if they're being abused.
Right.
How many times do we demonize parents who are traffickers, who were trafficked and are doing the only thing they ever knew? Poverty is a bitch. Like,
Poverty
you
is a
have to look at the bigger systems. You have to
And-
look as to why it happened. And then there are certain countries where it's like, when you believe culturally, when you believe in things, like India, for example, if you were born into a life of prostitution or slavery, it's because you did something to deserve it in your past life. You can't just go in and change culture. Like, we have to respect people.
You need to help
They
people
want-
where they are, the way they want to
Oh.
be helped. And Brittany made
Yeah.
a really good point.
They want to be trained to dig their own wells.
Yeah.
They want to be taught. They want to be empowered. All people just want to be empowered.
And the thing is
Look at this.
if you
Yes.
have real solutions can create real change, unless there's an insidious
Savior complex.
savior complex behind it, where there's an agenda that's bigger than water. If you come in, no matter what, whether you're religious or political, and you want to be able to influence people, and your way to influence people is by drilling them drilling them
Don't
wells.
drill the whales.
Don't drill the whales. Keep the whale. Leave the whales alone, because the whales have had enough having. Okay.
Right.
And
We gotta-
2020, maybe it's your year, whales. But wells, we need to like actually work with the people and It's-
Teach them.
teach them.
Teach them.
Like, if they don't even
And we need to teach us.
Literally.
That's the whole
Hold on.
freaking point.
right, literally, they're going in, they're drilling wells,
Right?
and they're not even involving the people a lot of the time, and that doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like, I'm God, I showed up, thank me.
Right. It's
And
the
if-
savior complex.
If you don't want to be thirsty, why don't you just worship my God?
Right. Well, in so many words, yes.
That's
It-
exactly
it's-
how it works.
But it's just about listening to people. This is what I learned when I was working with trafficking survivors.
Mhm.
And it was like, I had to get to situations that were so intense, they were outside of my comfort zone, where I just shut up and listened. And when I shut up and listened, it's amazing what happens, because you can actually hear a person's needs.
Mm.
You can hear a person's desires. You can hear their dreams. And then you can help them make their dreams a reality. You know what? Years ago, when we were first married,
Mhm.
we had some mentors, and he taught us this through this really funny story that he told. And he was talking about how every time he did the dishes, his wife would come behind and fix them because he always did them wrong. And for years, they had this riff about
Yeah.
doing the dishes wrong and right. And one day it occurred to him that she does most of the cooking, and they were okay with that in their gender roles. That's what they did. She did the cooking. And he was trying to serve her the way he thought she should be served, instead of the way she just wanted it done.
Mhm.
And so when he went into the kitchen and put on her gloves and did it the way she wanted it done, it changed their marriage.
Mhm.
And it's really that simple. We get so entitled in our own behavior that we don't realize that serving people is actually listening, is actually caring, is actually saying, how would you like to be served?
Yeah.
And when you do that on a massive scale with your business and actually listen to people and serve them,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
It's I remember my mentor giving me the reality check when he goes, the way I learned it was I was vacuuming, I was doing the dusting. I had my part in taking care of the house. And granted, they only had one child and it was really easy to take care of their house because there wasn't a lot getting messed up. So they had their roles. And so he's doing his role, she's doing her role. And he started thinking, like, if she did my role, how would I want her to do it?
Right.
So there was this dynamic of like, if you think about what you really want, and then you are going and you know your expectations, that's important. And then you have somebody do it for you, that changes the dynamics. It completely changes.
But that same thing, that same concept of how like we do dishes is the same thing when we look at how to help our family, how to help our community,
anyone,
how to help other countries, how to help any individual. It doesn't matter if it's within your business or it's within your family. It's how to actually help and then what to take responsibility for. And this is actually exactly why we developed Life School, because you have to be your own damn hero. You have to take care of yourself and your family because the world is crazy. And it's always been crazy. If you've had your eyes open forever, or at all, like at any point, whenever you were just like, wow, there's more than what meets the eye. When that happens, the only real answer is taking care of yourself and your family and then your community. Like take care of people here and then grow your rings of people that you take care of, that you serve, that you love, it's the only way to sustainable change.
Yeah, you really have to start now, right here with you. Otherwise,
how many sayings
there's
are
so
there?
many distractions that can be had, like buying programs that help you set up your business. But if you have 3 programs that are helping you set up your business or market your business, you're not going to choose any of them because ultimately I did this. We do that because we're avoiding the very thing that we know that we can change if we just look at it. I think that's why we came up with the show. If we just look at what is our responsibility? What are we actually responsible for? We can't control the government. We can't control the economies.
But you need to educate yourself. And that is really important.
Right.
So yes, buy programs. Yes, get educated.
Buy programs.
But understand.
You're not understanding where I'm coming from.
Well, then you got to
When I say buy programs, I mean, if you have a program that's supposed to help you set up your business and you have 3 of them, which program are you following? What that is a habit of procrastination of taking care of what you know you should be doing. Because the first program should have fixed it if it was a good program.
Right.
But if you have 3 good programs, why are you following 3 programs? It's because you're distracted. It's because you're not focusing on your family,
have to build your value.
Your personal responsibility and just building who you are.
Your income is directly connected to the value that you bring to the world. What do you deliver? I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's a job or it's a business. Your income is directly connected to the value that you bring. And that is connected to what you know and how you deliver it. I have met so many brilliant people who are broke because they didn't buy a program. They didn't learn how to do marketing or sales. They were just like, oh, I'm only good at this. I don't want to learn this. You have to learn. Or you have to learn how to hire people who know. Because it's the only way.
And you have to know. You have to know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, but you know you need to have it, then you have to educate yourself in that area in order to obtain it. There's no other way around it. It's like you could trust an expert, but if you don't know they're an expert, then you're going to fail in that area. You control your life.
You have to know enough to be dangerous in any area that you're working with. And right now, with so many businesses, especially small businesses, what makes now and this weird long journey to like the end of the country, America as we know it, is that I have never seen like the main streets shut down. The small businesses shut down.
Yeah.
Walmart's still allowed to go. Amazon's still allowed to go. Like all the big businesses are still going, but the small mom and pops, they're being shut down. And then you get big businesses that are more luxury brands like Neiman Marcus, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is an indication of something is really, really amiss.
It's a deliberate systemic breakdown is what's happening. Like if you look at it closely and you see China just
it's the global economy
drawing themselves inward and really focusing on building their own economy. It's because if you look back, there's actually some history on this. There's a really great documentary on Hulu and on Netflix about this. And it's where you can see, there's probably several of them, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of. You can actually see where China had, they had a couple leaders who came in since the 1950s where they were looking at how bad their poverty had gotten and they decided to change things. And there was this standard of bettering oneself in order to see their entire community change. And it's
personal empowerment.
It's their ancient, all they did was tap their ancient philosophies when before they were completely forgetting about the basics. And that's that you can build oneself up and you can build your neighbor up at the same time. And that's all you have to do. And it actually became part of political slogans and campaigns. And there was a leader who adopted this philosophy. While it didn't last a long time, 15, 20 years of really turning a country around was incredible. So now the history repeats itself. What's China doing? It's drawing itself inward. It's not just producing to produce. It's actually looking out for itself some. It's when
you pull the politics away and just look at the economies, just look at the money, just follow what's going on financially. You have to go beneath all of the politics because the politics will keep you stuck and pissed forever. It's just the surface layer. Go beneath the politics and follow the money. Because if you're just looking at who says what, where, and how, and they're all assholes at the top. Like that's it. They're all fighting. They're all trying to just get us to be more and more distracted. And if they cared about us, we would not have the poverty problems that we have in the US to start with. If the government was going to save us, we wouldn't have children being fed in schools. Abuse wouldn't be rampant. We have had our eyes closed for way too long. And now they're being opened. And it's easy to get really pissed really quick when you don't know what you don't know. Take a breath. Take a step back and go, what is really happening? Follow the money. Ask bigger questions. Go deeper. Figure out what's going on and then what you're responsible for. Because things are shifting. Every time I go to the grocery store, they're out of something else that's different. They're out of something else that you wouldn't expect. I needed new Xbox controllers for my kids in the Xbox. We had to go to 2 different stores because they're out of controllers. You know why? Because they're not getting them in from China. This is a major shift, and there's a high demand. Yeah. Why are we all playing the Xbox so much?
Because we're coping.
And then there's that.
And hopefully learning on our Xboxes as well.
Right. We use our Xbox for a lot of things. Yeah, and buttons do wear out. Sometimes you just press them too much, too fast.
Right. Too much, too fast.
But to me, the whole point is that, yes, the world is changing. Yes, we're never going back. Yes, we have to shift and adjust. Because what we've had in America for the last decades is peacetime. And it might not have felt like it because for so many of us, poverty, slavery, we've been at war. But compared to what is coming, it was peacetime. We have to take care of our families.
Mhm.
We have to be stable. We have to be ready. Worst case scenario, nothing happens and you're just extra safe. But odds of that happening are pretty slim. Look at this. How long do you think these restaurants that are only seating at 50 to 25%, how long are they going to be able to hold on? Restaurants didn't have the profit margin before when they were packed. How are they going to cover it? The real estate, the commercial real estate market is just completely upside down right now.
Yeah,
What happens when we're all working from home? Look at us. We're here. This is our bedroom. You don't realize it because it looks like New York. But you're in our bedroom. We're working from home. How much? Okay, so here was another thing. The hurricane happened. Normally, Hurricane Laura. When hurricanes happen, especially in the Gulf, it shuts down oil for a little bit. The oil rigs can't produce. We have a spike in gas. There was no spike in gas. It's because we're not consuming as much. Right. And if you look at we're not consuming as much gas and we're not buying as much stuff because we're not leaving our houses as much, what does that do to the manufacturing? What does that do to global trade? How does that change everything? We are changing because our spending has changed.
Yeah.
And that means when everyone changes at the same time, guess what you have? A major shift.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, I get worked up about this. So this is actually the reason we created Life School. It's so you can be your own damn hero together. We have to be responsible for our thoughts, words, and actions. We have to know how to care for our families. We have to know we have to know how to heal easily. We have to know how to rise above. We have to know how to keep a level head. For me, I had to kick my workaholism in the ass and say no more. I'm going to do what I know is right for myself. I'm going to do and build what I know is right. And that's why we developed this business. That's why we did it. Yeah. Because we wanted to be able to help people take control of their life, get easy healing, get the tools that you need to be able to overcome anything, to be unshakable, to be able to handle the difficult questions with your kids, to be able to help them learn, to be able to be better educated, to be more sensible. Our kids,
actually,
it's amazing. It is amazing what they do and how they protect and care. And they just stop bullying everywhere we go. If there is an argument on the playground anywhere we've been going
online,
right?
Many times. What our kids,
my goodness,
our
it's
kids
amazing.
have become masters from 9 years old to 19 years old at diffusing arguments and shutting down bullies. And
online, in gaming,
you would think it's just like, sit down and shut up because I'm bigger than you. Because there's this approach we have.
You can't tell when you're all online. You don't know who's bigger than who.
You don't know who's bigger than who. And so there's this approach that we've taught that really, really works. And we actually used it with survivors of trafficking to traffickers themselves. And it was, how in the world do you diffuse someone who is dead set on doing something that hurts someone else? And when we really looked at it, it was simple. It was like, you actually use your words. You learn to actually think like the person you're looking at.
Speak with authority and call it out.
Yeah.
But
you
confidence.
See that, you got to see the perspective of the person doing it. You got to have that foresight. And we're not taught to do that. Right. We're taught to just go, they're the bad guy, I'm the good guy, or that's the person, the victim who's getting hurt, instead of looking at what's the situation.
We don't know how to defuse arguments or problems or problem solve. And those are some of the critical things that we needed to be taught in school. that we weren't taught, that we aren't taught. And that's why we chose to educate our kids differently. That's why we chose to educate ourselves differently, because we knew it had to be addressed differently.
Right. I knew it had to be addressed differently when I saw myself utterly failing to not do what my parents did with me. Like I did better for a while until it was like, oh my God, I'm repeating the same mistakes and I can't do this.
Right.
But when I got out of I can't and I'm just going to, then all of this opportunity opened up in totally different areas, like where we were only reading certain types of books, where we started out being very like kind of evangelical Christian books is what we focus on for parenting. And then we started broadening it because we're like, we can do something.
And we read everything.
So we tried all of these. And then we started reading everything.
Right. We're at time.
We are at time.
You know what, guys? I am so excited. We do this every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Just look at it live. If y'all have questions, just feel free to jump on tomorrow or post them below.
Also, if you want to try Life School, I'm going to put a link in the comments. And that will actually get you Jess's book for only $7, but you're going to get 3 Life School.
But no, just go to superpoweredhumans.com and you can see the book. You can see Life School.
I was giving them opportunity to try out Life School for $7.
Oh, right. Okay. So there's
helping out here, Jess.
Right, but it's so much more complicated.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so when you buy my book for $7, then you get 3 free classes. And it's totally awesome. So you can go pay $7, get my book, and get 3 free Life School classes. But we teach 20 classes a month in Life School, and it's a membership program, and we made it affordable. Like, it's less than most, like 1 counseling session per month.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really powerful, totally worth it. And teaches you how to be your own damn hero. And it's for families. It's for all of us together so that we can rise, overcome, and do the things that we want to do. Yeah. I love you guys. You know what? I am so proud of you for being here today, for walking with us. I, more than anything, want you to rise. Yeah. I want you to feel the power that you have. I want you to feel the courage deep inside of your soul. I want you to take responsibility for your life, because there is nothing that tastes as good as being responsible actually feels. Yeah. When you are responsible for your life, when you're responsible for your thoughts, words, actions, and you're responsible for your family, it changes everything. It gives you strength and courage that you didn't know you had. And I want that for you. Yeah. So have courage today. I love you tons, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. See you next time.